Well, I'm afraid I've got some very sad news to report today.
Oh, I feel simply awful.
Labour MP Diane Abbott, who's dedicated the last 40 years of her life trying to start a waste raw in the UK, has been devoured by the very monster she helped create.
Oh no! Anyway, look.
Well. Welly Wellington. Seems these holier-than-thou neo-Puritans not quite so puritanical. Reminds me of the Gulag Archipelago. There's a bit in the Gulag Archipelago by Alexander Solzhenitsyn where he describes the state of mind and the demeanour of loyal party members who get thrown into the Gulag. There's been some administrative error. I shouldn't be here. It'll all work itself out. There's been a mistake.
Nope.
No, there's been no mistake, Diane. You did a racism.
Oh dear.
Today is an important moment in the history of the Labour Party.
Just 2 months ago, the Labour leader announcing the party finally out of special measures over anti-Semitism by the equalities watchdog.
I bet Sir Keir Starmer is furious. Ooh, I wouldn't want to see Sir Keir Starmer angry. Frankly, Diane, this couldn't have come at a worse time.
It's meant rebuilding trust, not just with the Jewish community, but with all those who were rightly appalled by the culture of the party under the previous leadership.
Plunged back into that discussion, Diane Abbott today, suspended from Labour pending an investigation over a letter she wrote, stating, "It is true that many types of white people with points of difference, such as redheads, can experience this prejudice, but they are not all their lives subjected to racism."
Unpopular opinion here, perhaps, but you can right my wrong in the comment section if you like. I think it's way more difficult in England today to grow up ginger than it is to grow up black. And I know because I'm neither one of those. But imagine for a minute that your entire childhood, the go-to insult, the thing people attack you for the most, is an immutable characteristic. It's your physical appearance people attack about you all the time. That didn't happen to racial minorities, at least where I grew up. It definitely happened to ginger kids. I don't know, I guess we'll have to ask Wes Brown or something. He must be an expert.
In pre-civil rights America, Irish people, Jewish people and travellers were not required to sit at the back of the bus. In apartheid South Africa, these groups were allowed to vote. And at the height of slavery, there was no white-seeming people manacled on slave ships.
It always amazes me that these grifters can't hear themselves. So what are we supposed to say, right? So we're supposed to think that black people in England today are still affected by the fact that black people in South Africa decades ago weren't allowed to vote. But the descendants of families that were annihilated in the Holocaust, they'll just never get it.
It was a response to an opinion piece questioning the view that racism only affects people of colour. She later apologised, saying it was only an initial draft and that letter should never have been sent, but also that there is no excuse and I wish to apologise for any anguish caused.
Okay, so here's what I think. Here's my 2 cents. I'm going to give my opinion. Are you ready? Okay, brace yourselves. This is what I think. I think it's all well and good that Diane has apologised, and in the apology she recognised a little bit the stupidity of what she said, right? Obviously, the Jewish people, I think, have suffered from racist cultures. There has been anti-Semitism, hasn't there? I think. That's a thing, right? So, okay, good. You've apologised. However, shouldn't this incident give Diane Abbott pause for thought? And for people like her with this intersectional worldview, shouldn't you sit down after a stupid thing like that exposes your ignorance? And shouldn't you think, what the fuck have I done with my life for the last 40 years? Doesn't it make you think that you're wasting time and you're telling people that one of their immutable characteristics is the thing that defines them? Now, I'm not here to say that history doesn't affect the present, right? But do you think, Diane, that you're really helping young people, young black people? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Do you think you're helping them by telling them that one immutable characteristic, that one thing about their personality is going to hold such a massive bearing on the outcome of their lives? That they live in a system that just terrorizes them and ostracizes them, and no other community can understand that. And so there's no point really in trying to explain it, because they could never understand. I think it's just very dangerous to treat people as a collective and not as individuals, right? And the reason is, we can see how stupid it is to say that English Jewish people will never understand racism because they could vote in apartheid South Africa. Yet at the same time, nobody seems to see how ridiculous it is also to say that black people in England do understand racism because South African black people couldn't vote in apartheid South Africa. Why do we not see that there is no association between those two things? That every black person is an individual, every Jewish person, every white person, everyone is a fucking individual. They may have or may not have experienced racism. It should go without saying that where you were born, when you were born, in what epoch, what people were around you, what community were you born into, those things will determine whether your physical appearance negatively affects the outcomes in your life. Anyway, I just think it's a crying shame that the first woman of colour to scale that greasy pole and become an elected MP in the House of Commons in the UK way back when in 1987, and she stayed there for 36 years perched on her laurel, all on merit. You don't get to the top of the UK Labour Party through anything else other than merit. It's a strict meritocracy. The people that get to the top of the Labour Party, they are the society's creme de la creme, right? Which is French for cream of the cream. So you can imagine, right? Just like cream, that's good, but the cream on the cream, that's Diane Abbott, okay? And I think she should have just stuck to what she's good at. Number crunching, right? She should be our next Chancellor of the Exchequer, Chancelloress of the Exchequer, Chancellor of the Exchequeress.
So how much would 10,000 police officers cost?
Well, if we recruit the 10,000 police men and women over a 4-year period, we believe it'll be about £300,000.
£300,000 for 10,000 police officers? What are you paying them?
No, I mean, sorry.
How much will they cost?
It will cost about £80 million.
About £80 million?
Yeah.
Right. How do you get to that figure?
We get to that figure because we anticipate recruiting 25,000 extra police officers a year at least over a period of 4 years. And we're looking at both what average police wages are generally, but also specifically police wages in London.
I don't understand. If you divide 80 million by 10,000, you get 8,000. Is that what you're going to pay these policemen and women?
No, we're talking about a process over 4 years.
I don't understand. What is he or she getting? 80 million divided by 10,000 equals 8,000. So what are these police officers going to be paid?
We will be paying them the average...
Has this been thought through?
Of course it's been thought through.
No, she was not. That was a bad day. She was not a diversity hire, all right? Diane Abbott is a mathematical genius. And yeah, she's a bit controversial from time to time, right? She's got some revisionist ideas about 20th century history, okay? But... democracy doesn't work, people. No. Well, I don't know. I love the fact that, someone who's been there for 36 years, right? And I know I've only looked at a couple of clips at her today. You shouldn't generalise. But then, hey, Diane Abbott we're talking about here, isn't it? I am going to generalise. She's a moron, right? She's been in that position for 36 years. She says the most moronic things imaginable. She doesn't know what she's doing. She doesn't know what's going on. And it just so happens that she's been talking shite for 40 years and it's worked for her career. But then one day she slipped up. She said the thing that you're not allowed to say. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, dickhead. I don't care. I don't want people to lose their jobs for saying the wrong thing. And it was a stupid thing that she said. But, you know, as I said at the beginning of the video, watching someone get devoured by the monster they helped create. Well, cry me a fucking river, Diane. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.